Hello and welcome to today's video. My name's Haley and today we're going to be finishing up the fourth gene key, a universal panacea. And today's video is all about the Siddhi of Forgiveness within this fourth gene key. So upon even just reading the name of the Siddhi, Forgiveness, I thought to myself instantly about the Course in Miracles, which if you've never heard of that, it's a big dark blue text that kind of looks like the Bible in my opinion, and has served as my Bible before I found the gene keys. And the fundamental concept it teaches is forgiveness, and how forgiveness is essentially the way to freedom, love, presence, oneness, all that good stuff. And the Course in Miracles, there's so many YouTube videos about. So if you don't feel like reading the whole saga, you can definitely just type in Course in Miracles on YouTube and yeah, kind of see similar to this, someone else talk about their downloads or insights about the Course in Miracles. And there's also a 365-day course, quite literally the course. So there's the text portion that teaches forgiveness, and then the course is little games and things, activities for you to do over the course of the year. And I found that book extremely helpful. I found it when I first started to meditate back in, gosh, what month was that? February of 2024. And it really completely shifted my framework on not only what I thought forgiveness was about, but also taught me how to forgive. So it's really beautiful text, highly recommend it. And yeah, just even reading this word forgiveness really helped me remember everything I learned from that text. And I've actually considered doing a kind of video series on Course in Miracles, so maybe once I'm done with the gene keys, I will do that. But for now, we are talking about the gene keys, not the Course in Miracles. So let's hop right into this Siddhi state. Richard Rudd says that this Siddhi of Forgiveness is going to bring about a social revolution. It's going to completely rework the way our current society runs, how we treat others, and how we treat ourselves. And more importantly, it's going to bring an end to this search for knowledge. And once again, returning to his definition of knowledge from the last video, he defines knowledge as what your mind thinks it needs in order to take away permanent feelings of unease. So this Siddhi state of forgiveness is going to take away our need to collect certain facts in order to take away our unease. This Siddhi of Forgiveness is going to make us realize how obsolete it is to collect evidence or reason or rhyme in order to build an illusion of security. There's going to be no need for it once this Siddhi of Forgiveness is implemented. And so this will lead to the social revolution. He says the thrust of our modern world will die down. We will no longer need to logically make sense of the paradox of existence because our new center of awareness will give us a physical and energetic understanding of existence. Wow. So essentially, we will begin to experience true existence, true knowledge, true presence. And personally, sorry, it's so sunny today. Personally, I think our collective purpose is to be present. So I, upon reading this statement, thought about, wow, it's going to collectively unite us into all experiencing our true purpose of presence, really experiencing this life and what it has to offer. Back to the third gene key, it will allow us to just play, since we're putting this old sense of knowledge to rest. Finally, retiring the need to figure out the matrix or understand life. Instead, we'll just start living the purpose, which is experiencing life. He says, logic at its highest frequency is a means to orchestrate the most efficient society possible. So true knowledge, true logic is meant to make an efficient society. And currently we're not very efficient as a society, right? We're all running around like chickens with our heads cut off. Some people are really rich, some people are really poor. Some have plenty to eat, others are throwing out leftovers like it doesn't matter. It's not very efficient. There's plenty of waste going on, and there's plenty of people that are not being taken care of. A system that is efficient takes care of all and has zero waste. The less waste you have, the more efficient you are. So currently, the way society runs is not efficient at all. And he says, again, when this state of forgiveness is how we are all living our lives, efficiency will come upon our society, which means waste will cease and everyone will be taken care of. True efficiency, he says, has a higher holistic understanding of living systems. Once again, everyone is accounted for. The entire system, the entire earth, all people, which once again makes me think of the fact that modern day hierarchies and governmental systems will break down because there will be no need for I'm on top, you're on the bottom. I'm first class, you're second class. That all of this kind of paradigm will be completely shattered when we become truly efficient in the state of forgiveness. And he says here, it's because once our gift, the gift state of understanding comes online, we'll start to become aware of how connected we really are. And we'll begin to understand, truly understand, that selfishness is the most inefficient frequency of all. I read that and I thought, wow, that is a line. Selfishness is the most inefficient frequency of all. And you know, as I marinate with that, I think about how I know that's true. I do, because it makes my heart smile and it provides relief. However, just because I can consciously declare with my 5% prefrontal cortex that something is true, the rest of my body, the 95% of my subconscious, still can't get online sometimes. And so, once again, this is where I personally pinned it and said, I need to pray about this. You know, higher power, God, love, source energy, mana, prana, shakti, that thing inside of you and all around you. Can you help me understand, truly understand that selfishness is the most inefficient frequency of all? Because if I knew that, if I really knew that, all of my actions would showcase the opposite of selfishness. They would showcase giving and forgiveness. But you know, honestly, right now I still have plenty of actions that only serve myself, only think about myself. And so something to contemplate here that I've been sitting with ever since I started reading this chapter was, what points in my life am I still being selfish? Am I still vibrating at this frequency that really is not helpful to not only me, but also the all? It's an illusion, right? Selfishness is an illusion. I partake in selfish action because I think it helps me get forward. But really, it's holding myself and everyone else back. So, yeah, where can I step into more giving, more forgiveness? And this could look like contemplating a list of people that you need to be forgiving towards, that you're holding a grudge towards. This could look like brainstorming where just the simplicity of selfishness arises, whether that's with how you spend your money or your time or your energy. I thought of quite a few things when reading this. And it can be as simple as buying a friend a coffee, starting there. Or as simple as, oh, I have some free time, instead of doing what I want to do, let me go help Jimmy with his move, because I know he needs help moving. It can be as simple as starting to share your energy or your time or your money in even small ways. Another example being, oh, you know, let me call my auntie and see how she's doing, and just hold space and be there for her. let me listen more than I talk. That's a form of being selfless, rising out of this frequency of selfishness, this inefficient frequency of selfishness. And something I've noted in past videos is actions lead to gnosis, true understanding, getting the mind and the body to link up. So the more the actions showcase givingness, forgiveness, the more a person can start to fully, truly understand forgiveness and raise their frequency. Actions have the power to either degrade a person's frequency or raise them. So it's interesting to note there. He says, forgiveness is born out of understanding. Okay, so when I read this, I'm going to tell you guys a little story here. When I read this, I thought, this is true. Someone I've personally had to forgive is my old agent. For a long, long time, I was like, fuck you. Honestly, I did not like him. I thought he ruined my life, whatever. I could go on. It took me a really, really long time to get to a place of forgiveness for him. And the way I did that was, the word forgiveness to me, compassion is a derivative or equivalent to the word forgiveness. And compassion to me means I completely understand why you did what you did, why you're acting the way you're acting, but that doesn't mean that I agree. So compassion to me is this putting yourself in their shoes, putting yourself in their eyes, their scenario, their world, and walking yourself through the actions that they took toward you and trying to understand why they did what they did. And then opening your eyes, getting out of that, and being like, oh, that's why they acted the way they did towards me. Okay, I see why they did that, I do. It doesn't mean I agree, it doesn't mean I think it's right necessarily. But I do see why they did what they did. It's because they were really hurt, or because they had a traumatic upbringing, or because they were also a model that was traumatized by their agent, and they also thought they had to be a certain size to earn this amount of money, and blah, 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 blah. All the reasons start to become internalized within yourself, and you're able to cultivate that compassion for them. And compassion is kind of fundamental to forgiveness. Once you have compassion, true compassion, you truly understand why they did what they did, forgiveness is natural, effortless, and easy. And so forgiveness is born out of understanding, and understanding is born out of compassion. And this is something I've had to work on with certain people. And certain people take longer to forgive than others. It depends how much of a grudge you have towards them, how much you have stacked up against them. But it is a very freeing state, I will say. When I finally came to a place of forgiveness for my agent, I realized, you know what? Hurt people hurt people. Oh, the cliche is true, go figure. The cheese is always true. So yes, that was very freeing. So I read that line, forgiveness is born out of understanding, and I thought, I like that. I resonate with that. He notes here how the Siddhi of Forgiveness has no restlessness at all, whereas the gift state of understanding does have a restlessness. And so what does he mean by this? Going back to the example of me with my agent. When I was first trying to understand him, to build compassion for him, which is foundational to the Siddhi state of forgiveness, I was restless in the sense that I started writing letters to him, like, oh, I do understand why you did what you did. I even thought about sending them to him. I thought about calling him and trying to talk it out. There was a restlessness. I wanted to resolve things. And then eventually, I got to this place of true forgiveness. And true forgiveness is peaceful. It's not restless in the sense that it doesn't need to even speak to the other person in order to feel the sense of peace. Now I can sit here and completely forgive my agent without feeling the need to call him and talk it out or get him to understand me, because I understand me. I understand the situation. And more importantly, I think I understand, I should say, all the points in which why he acted like he acted. And again, this doesn't mean that I agree with them. I don't agree with the fact that he told me not to eat for 5 days, or he told me to, whatever, be this size, or cut my hair, or stop dressing the way I dress. Like, I don't agree with these things, but I do understand why he said them, because I was able to put myself in his position through his lens of trauma and see, oh, okay, he's telling me to do these things because he knows they will benefit me within the industry, and he's trying to make me money, and that's his job. So true forgiveness, this true siddhic state of forgiveness, doesn't need validation from the other person. It's completely content in its own understanding. So it's able to peacefully and gracefully move on. And I'm going to be real with you guys. This did not happen overnight. This took like literally over a year of me writing letters that I never sent him, trying to understand him. Years of, like a whole year of me praying like every night about this. So it was not easy. And again, I think forgiveness is embodied to the degree in which you actually want it. And I really did want to forgive him. I just didn't know how. And I think when there's a strong intention, a strong desire behind something, once again, the divine, God, love, Mana Prana Shakti, with that thing inside of you and all around you, senses that and gives you the motivation and the strength you need to work through the blockage. It's all about an intention at the end of the day. Like, how much do you actually want to forgive? How much do you actually want to know that selfishness is the most inefficient frequency? If you actually wanted to know, if you actually wanted to embody the state of forgiveness, then you would work tirelessly at it. And it's funny because there's definitely still people I have to forgive in my life, and clearly I didn't want to forgive them as urgently as I wanted to forgive my agent. I really wanted to move on from this blockage in my life because I could sense and feel that it was holding me back from so much. And so you who's watching this can contemplate, who in my life do I need to build a sense of urgency to forgive? Or am I kind of like, I'll get around to forgiving my mom, or like, repairing things with my sister, or it's not that important that I figure out how to be okay with how my ex situation ended. Where are you kind of like, because the points in which we're doing that, it's a bunch of stored energy that we're not cashing in. And building a sense of urgency, a strong intention to cultivate forgiveness in the places in which we aren't currently doing so, is where the power lies, is where your creative energy lies. Essentially, I guess what I'm trying to say is no one person is more important to forgive than another. It's just as important for me to forgive my mother as it is for me to forgive my agent. Even if my ego thinks there's a hierarchy. Oh, them first, then this, then this, then this. Everyone deserves forgiveness. Forgiveness allows the truth behind all forms to be seen. Further than that, it allows one to see through and thus become one with the truth. The truth is, he wasn't trying to hurt me. The truth is, he was doing the best with the level of consciousness that he was at. The truth is, hurt people hurt people. I could go on, but you start to sink into this gnosis of like, oh yeah, it actually wasn't so personal. I was taking it so personal, but it actually wasn't personal at all. It's never personal when someone hurts you. They're simply just projecting and dumping their own trauma on you. And then same with when I hurt someone, right? It's not personal to them. It's just I happen to be offloading onto them because I have certain trauma stored in my body. So it's never personal. And I think this is also something that's helped me forgive and helped me realize where I need to forgive and be forgiven. Oh, I love this part. He says, forgiveness represents an involving force rather than an evolving force because it literally comes from the future toward the past. Quite literally, when you forgive someone, you reframe your entire past. So, for example, a year ago, when I honestly had zero forgiveness toward my agent, I was still like, modeling sucks, all this stuff sucks, poor me, victim, all this stuff. I was at a much lower frequency. Over the course of these months, as I worked tirelessly to try to cultivate this compassion, this forgiveness, I started to see the past differently. And now when I look back, I'm like, oh, wow, I wouldn't change a thing. And this is because it's set me up for who I am now, right? Now I'm able to mentor models and women on how to love themselves, and I wouldn't have this experience if I didn't have that experience. So it's kind of like a building block. You start to see the past as a stepping stone to where you are now. And that generates gratitude for the past instead of resentment. That generates empowerment instead of victimhood. And so this Siddhi state of forgiveness is an involving force. It literally rewrites the entire past, which also rewrites the entire future. It collapses time and space as we know it. It raises the frequency of your entirety of your being and all the beingness you've ever been and all the beingness you will ever be, which I think is so beautiful. So cool. It kind of like amps me up, even just like thinking about that. And so this also, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, Haley, get it together, girlfriend. Who else do you need to forgive? Every time I forgive something in my past, I rewrite my entire future. I level up my entire being. So there's really no need to have a grudge against my ex. I should probably work on that. There's really no need to keep replaying the saga with my parental units. There's really no need to keep kind of giving that energy toward an old friend of mine. If anything, I should be so stoked and so amped to go and look at the points in my life where I still need to forgive and realize that it's providing a level up for not only me, but the entirety of my life. And once again, just because I can consciously declare this doesn't mean my entire body knows this. The only way to get the entire subconscious mind online is to showcase it through action. So as I was reading this, I was making a laundry list of things and people and just experiences I need to forgive because it is efficient. And it's the best thing I can do for not only myself, but also for the all. Who can I forgive? What can I forgive? What experience can I move on from and stop holding a grudge towards? He says it's working its way back through time, burrowing into our collective past, releasing and freeing energy that has lain trapped and stagnant for eons. And this is true, because although it might not seem directly correlated, this energy that is being trapped, being spent on holding the grudge towards this person, once it's released, a whole cascade of energy is now available for you to tap into, turn into, and turn on into. So even though it may not seem directly correlated, now I write poetry, now I sing. And this is all because of this freed up creative energy that instead of I'm using to hold down this blockage, now I'm like, oh, I can let that scenario be what it was. All this free energy can now be used for something more beautiful, expansive, that I can share with the all in myself. So something to note here is as you start to forgive, you will literally become more creative. You'll have more to share, which is a really nice side effect, a really nice unexpected side effect. The city of forgiveness is often credited with being capable of inducing miracles. Cool. Who doesn't want miracles in their life? Okay, and here he says, once this debt is released, right? Once this energy block that you've been holding this grudge against your ex-partner is finally forgiven, you finally cultivate that compassion, which allows forgiveness to naturally and effortlessly sprout. This energy is released. Now you can move through incredible transmutations. You are the one who's going to change. You're rewriting your past, which means you're rewriting your future. You're opening yourself up to so much more than you even realize. And I think that's the coolest part about this, right? It's, once again, it's unpredictable how you will change, but you will change for the better. And something he notes here is, he says, it's the resolution of old debt at all levels, meaning you can't half forgive someone. Forgiveness is holistic in nature. All siddhic states are one, no duality. You can't partially forgive someone. And you'll know this because I remember with me, with my agent, I was working tirelessly trying to forgive, and I remember it was in one holy instant where I felt it come over me. I felt the release. Truly, I felt their blockage release. And it was holistic. It wasn't like I half forgave him. It was holistic. One holy instant of forgiveness completely changed everything. You either have forgiven them or you haven't forgiven them. Oh wow, my leg is really asleep right now. This feels really weird. Whew, I can breathe through that. He says it falls upon you like a surprise. Something inside you opens up that was previously choked. It truly is a miracle. I can attest to this because I've experienced it. And it's funny too, because as I read this, I think about the people that I'm still currently trying to forgive. And I know I haven't, you know. Once again, I know what this holy instant feels like of forgiveness. And I know it hasn't dawned on me with certain people. And that's okay. Acknowledging where you're at is okay. You know, we can't all expect to just completely forgive everyone and everything all in one moment at one go. So I think being compassionate towards the self is really important as well. Because something I've definitely struggled with in the past is, why can't I forgive them? Like, I want to consciously forgive them, and I'm trying to forgive them, and I can't forgive them. And that kind of energy, that anger, actually only pulls your energy down. And once again, the energy of forgiveness is really high. It's literally an enlightened state of being. So it's a little counterintuitive to get upset at yourself for not being able to attain light. It's actually dragging you further away from light is something I've realized. So giving the self-compassion, realizing it will take time, it will take its own time, and it will dawn on you like a surprise. The only job for the individual is to keep cultivating the desire to forgive. Keep building the intention, the want. I really want to forgive. Make that your focus. And so then he talks about beings that have forgiven everything, every person, every scenario, every experience within their life. So essentially someone who is enlightened. And he says these beings hold on to nothing in life. Nothing. They let everything go because they've moved on beyond understanding into pure truth. And the truth is everything happens for a reason. Everything's happening for you. It happened for me. And it's beautiful to be able to let go of all of it, I'm sure. That sounds really lovely. But once again, in the meantime, you know, at least for me, I'm like, let me let go of certain grudges in bits and pieces as I'm able to. And right now, that's enough for me. I'm just doing my best with the level of consciousness that I'm at. But I think right here also what stood out to me was they move beyond understanding into truth. Okay, truly, 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 the truth is everything happens for a reason. I'm going to use my clavicle as the example. When it happened, I was like, fuck. I did move into empowerment relatively quickly, considering how much it hurt. Nonetheless, it still took me a bit of time to truly be grateful for this injury, to truly come into alignment with the truth that the truth is it happened for me. It was meant to induce a stage in my life where all I had to do was relax, surrender, so that I could open up into my voice, into my femininity. Sometimes cultivating compassion, cultivating understanding, which is the groundwork for forgiveness, takes time. Here is the sentence where he wraps in the name of this chapter. He says, forgiveness, pure forgiveness, is a universal panacea that radiates in every direction throughout space and time. I'm going to read that one more time. Pure forgiveness is a universal panacea that radiates in every direction throughout space and time. Once again, it collapses space and time because when you rewrite the past, you rewrite the future. You're rewriting the present. Time doesn't even exist when you're in this true holy instance of forgiveness. Radiates in every direction. It changes everything. Right? Because it makes you grateful for the past. Now, for whatever reason, this forgiveness makes me grateful for my experience with my agent. It makes me grateful for this injury. And like, truly, I'm not bullshitting. And this is how you know if you've actually forgiven. Because closely linked to forgiveness, I have found, is gratitude. You know, for instance, I know right now, sitting here as I make this video, I haven't actually forgiven my ex. Why? Because I'm not really grateful for him yet. If I had truly forgiven him, I'd be completely grateful for him right now. And that's okay. You know, compassion, having compassion for the self. One day I do believe I will get to this frequency of forgiveness, this siddhic state of forgiveness for my ex. Right now I'm not at that point. But I know I'm at that point with my injury. I know I'm at that point with my agent and the modeling industry because I truly am thankful for it. And so this is something to ask yourself. Where do I feel gratitude? This will help you sift out if you've actually holistically forgiven or if you still have some work to do in that area. And I'll leave you guys with this last little sentence. He says, true forgiveness is merciless because it returns everything to its source and is a force of pure annihilation. The ultimate goal of forgiveness is in fact to bring an end to the world of form itself. Once again, all of these siddhic states are ways to explain enlightenment, ironically enough. All enlightenment is oneness. Within oneness, there's no duality. So of course, form collapses. That wraps up our fourth gene key, a universal panacea. I really loved that siddhic state chapter. Really amped me up reading it. So I hope it spoke to you as well. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video, getting into the fifth gene key, the ending of time. Aloha. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in with me for this Gene Keys episode. I also just wanted to come on here and start promoting my one-to-one coaching that I offer to women and girls ages 16 to 35. If you've followed me on Instagram for a while, you might be a little bit familiar with my story. I was a model in New York City for 5 years, and in that time frame, I did quite some damage. I developed a really severe eating disorder, body dysmorphia, chronic anxiety. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even go out to dinner without thinking about how much calories, how much I'd have to overwork out in order to compensate for what I was eating. All of those issues led to quite a depression and turned into PCOS, and I also lost my menstrual cycle for over 5 years. All of this amalgamation of issues led me to soon realize that something needed to change. I went through much work. Many people helped me to get to where I am now. And I'm so thrilled to say I'm living such a more abundant life, and I don't feel zapped and drained and fear of judgment anymore like I used to. I would love to offer what I've learned through my own embodied experience, the meditative techniques that have gravitated toward me, and the own verified games that I've made up and curated to help you walk home to more of you and who you really are, so that all of these things can stop draining your energy. You know, all the constant comparison to others and to your people on Instagram, all the over-analysis about working out and what you're eating or what you look like. All of these things are not what life's about, as cheesy as it sounds. And I would love to help you come into more unity with you if you struggle with any of these things and you're a woman or girl between the ages of 16 and 35. So feel free to reach out to me if one-on-one coaching sounds resonant. You can feel free to DM me through Instagram or contact me via email, both of which will be left below in the description box. So much love and aloha to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.